Yeah, we pivot to netball now as we continue with our build-up to the Netball America's World Cup qualifying tournament that will be staged at the National Indoor Sports Centre in Kingston, Jamaica from the 16th to the 22nd of October. SportsMax will have live coverage of the event that will see 9 teams battling over 36 matches for 2 places at the 2023 World Cup set for Cape Town in South Africa next summer. Today we'll assess the chances of Grenada's Spice Girls, a team ranked 4th in the Americas region and 20th in the world. We're pleased to be joined by Captain Cecile Howell. Cecile, let me start here. Preparation, that's what the buzzword is as we are closing in on the start time. How has Grenada's preparation gone?
So we've been going through some intense training, very rigorous. One of the factors that is very pertinent is fitness and conditioning. So we have been doing some training on that. We know that we have not been lucky enough, like the other teams, to be playing series and all of that. So we have done our groundwork and we are ready and prepared for this tournament.
Yeah, so how disappointing was it then for Grenada, Cecile, that you didn't defend your title at the OECS Championship in February in Dominica? Because almost all of the teams that would have are heading for Jamaica would have contested that tournament. Was that a setback in your preparation?
Yes, it was a setback. We were disappointed that we weren't able to represent and defend our title. But as I said before, we don't see ourselves as at a disadvantage, but we are ready. We've studied, we've examined our opponents, and we have done our own personal preparation, and we are ready for the tournament.
Yeah, so St. Vincent and the Grenadines were winners of the OECS tournament in Dominica 6 or 7 months ago. You had beaten them to win the title in 2019 before the COVID-19 sort of shut things down. Does that result give your team confidence going into this tournament?
Yes, it does. Actually, it's motivation for us. I know that COVID has passed and we have been through our struggles, both individually and collectively as a unit. And as I mentioned before, fitness is one of the most crucial parts. So I think that now that COVID has passed and we have done all our preparations, I think that we are more than ready to go up to the challenge.
Yeah, a lot of the teams that we have spoken to so far, Cecile, spoke fairly or reasonably confident about their fitness levels because this is going to be a demanding tournament. Many days you'll be playing 2 matches per day. How fit is the Grenada team? I know your match sharpness may be a little off because you hadn't been playing tournament play like many of the other teams, but physical fitness, where would you rank your team on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best?
I think we will rank ourselves 8 out of 10. We've had several fitness tests, and I think that we've improved as individual players on our scores. And I think that it is important that we recognize that fitness is a continuous project. It's not just 1 week, you get fit. You have to continuously put in the work. And I think we've been doing that. So we are quite confident in our fitness.
I was having a look at the fixtures, Cecile. I see where you open against St. Lucia, and that's a morning match, and then you have an evening match against the Cayman Islands, 2 teams that are ranked below you, and on paper should not be as strong as the Grenadians. On paper, I emphasize that because, the games are played on court. Does that give you an encouraging start to the tournament, that you're up against 2 teams on the opening day that you believe that you should be able to get by?
We're not taking anybody for granted. We are preparing for all the teams the same way. We plan to take it 1 quarter at a time, 1 game at a time. We know that St. Lucia and Cayman Islands have been doing their work as well, so we cannot take anyone for granted. And I believe that we would be playing a very clinical brand of netball, which in my opinion depends on consistency and who commits the fewest mistakes. And in netball, you just have to have your game plan. And if your game plan doesn't work, you just have to adjust. And that's one of the things that we plan to do.
Yeah, how many players from the 2019 OECS championship winning team have you retained for this World Qualifier?
Roughly 7 or 8.
Well, that's a good number. Your coach, Althea McCullin, should have been in this link here. Didn't quite make it. But how satisfied is she with how things have gone preparation-wise?
I think she's satisfied compared to her first encounter with us. I think she is pleased with the progress and the growth of the team, both individually as players and as a collective unit. I think, as I said before, fitness is a continuous project. So we are working towards our fitness as we speak, because we have a training session going on right now. And we are just working hard to gain one of those 2 spots at the World Cup qualifiers.
When you say you have a training session going on right now, you mean you're missing training because you're doing this interview?
Yes, yes.
All right. Althea McCullin, your coach, is a Trinbagonian, having just joined your setup in the summer. Not a long time to be with a team to prepare. How have things gone under her guidance?
Things have been going well. At the first training session, she just basically broke down everything that is expected, what she was bringing to the table. And she's a very spiritual person. I feel like her spiritual intellect is going to resonate with us in terms of mental strength and being able to figure things out on the court. And I feel like he has brought a positive insight to the team, and it was a pleasure working with her thus far.
Yeah, talk to us about the importance of the opportunity here to qualify for the World Cup in South Africa next year, because for the most part, the teams that have gone to the Caribbean, gone from the Caribbean to World Cup tournaments have been, you know, for the most part, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes Barbados, but not many of the Eastern Caribbean islands have a record of getting to World Cup qualification. How motivational is that thought for Grenada to get to South Africa next year?
I think it's very motivating because in 2019, we were 1 spot shy of the 2nd spot. And I think we're back hungrier now, and I think we deserve a chance. We have raw talent in Grenada and by extension, the Caribbean. And I feel like our players deserve the opportunity. I think a lot of investment needs to be taken into account for our athletes, especially as women. The Caribbean athletes out there, like Samantha Wallace, Janelle Fowler, Shamira Sterling, they motivate us, and we want to get to that spot. We want to get that opportunity. So Grenada is very hungry, and we will be bringing the spice to Jamaica.
Well, we're ready for it. And before you go, final question, how long have you been captain of this team?
Okay, so I have captained in 2019. I've captained on lower levels as well. But I was recently nominated as the captain again by my teammates. So it's an honor and a pleasure, and I just want to shout them out. They're in training, they can't hear me, but whenever they see this, you know.
Yeah, well, this segment goes up on YouTube within an hour or so after the show ends, so everyone will see Cecile Howell picking up her teammates and her coach. But we certainly appreciate having you here on the SportsMax Zone to build up to this World Cup qualifying tournament. It's going to be a very exciting tournament, and as you know, live on SportsMax. Cecile, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Yeah, Cecile Howell there, captain of the Grenada team. The Spice Girls getting ready for action. She's bringing the spice to Jamaica, she says. And George and Mariah, one of the common threads that I'm seeing in these interviews, these teams are confident. Yeah. It's going to be a competitive series, and no one knows for sure which two will make it. But they all seem confident and inspired to do well.
But Lance, that's the start of doing well, and I love to see that the ladies, despite where they're ranked in the table, they are not letting that deter them, you know. They have this sense of passion. They seem very, very rejuvenated. They have reasons to be so. And I'm looking forward for a good competition here in Jamaica.
I'd love for there to be no gap between the teams. Well, I know Jamaica is a cut above the rest, but they're not competing for one of the two places available for the Cape Town trip. But I'd want for there to be no gap between the teams and among the teams, and for just the best team on the day to win. As you noted, everybody no quarter is being asked, no quarter is being given. All of the teams we've spoken to so far, everybody is saying they are coming to cause more than a stir, and I'd love for that to materialize.
Yeah. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines won the OECS tournament. They won it, and the St. Lucians believe that they are good enough to get into the top two as well. You just heard the Grenadian captain Cecile Howell banking on a top performance to get to the World Cup in South Africa as well. And Trinidad and Tobago traditionally have been one of the strongest teams. So we are seeing the makings of a strong competition here at the America's Netball World Cup qualifiers, October 16 to 22, live on SportsMax. And we have a lot more coming up on the SportsMax zone. Back after the break.